Welcome, everybody. You're listening to Frostbytes, a gaming podcast, with your hosts, Spencer McPhee, Cassie Mann. You can find Frostbytes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Not Apple Music, silly goose. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts.
One of these days, we're going to make an album of Frostbytes music.
Yeah.
And it's going to be...
on Apple Music.
Yeah.
Then it'll be on Apple Music.
It's going to have the theme song, and that's it.
That's it. We'll just put out a single of the Frostbytes theme song.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a pretty banger tune.
I'm a big fan. I think it turned out really well.
I'm a big fan. I'm happy that we made that ourselves.
We did.
Because we're musicians.
Damn it.
Not only do we love video games, but we're musicians. So we made the song. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We did it.
It's January 18th? 19th. Today is January 18th. It's the 18th.
18th.
Yep. We are good at the dates. Yep.
First try.
Yep, we got it. But yeah, we made it. It's been a month since the last episode, and now we're into 2024. Ready to talk about new things. Yeah.
The biggest thing that I don't know has happened recently, I think, has been just the epilogue for Scarlet, at least for us, I think.
Yeah, that's really all I played a bit of that, and the only other things I've really been playing lately are a little bit of Fortnite here and there, and been playing a lot of Mario Wonder lately.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've been finally getting into it. I mean, I was into it before, but I've been putting some more time into it. I think I'm on World 3 now, or maybe I just got to World 4.
Okay.
I got to the first level that had the drill thing.
Yep.
And then I started playing online a bit, finally.
Nice. Cool.
And I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
Isn't it neat to see other people just running around?
Super neat.
Have you done any of the puzzle levels with other people?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where you have to find the...
one level with people online, and then I haven't really had a chance to play since, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to do this more.
Cool. I'm excited to hear you play more with that turned on.
Yeah. And then I've also been playing Super Mario RPG.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. You and I both streamed.
We did.
Our first time playing that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to continue playing it on stream because it's fun.
Sweet.
Yeah.
How far have you gotten in that one?
I don't remember. It's been a minute since I played it.
Did you get the first star?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I got the first star. I think that's it. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. That's one that I want to get back to as well. And we're going to talk about that.
We will.
Later in the show. We're going to talk about games that we have on our backlog, games that are ongoing, and then also some general gaming goals for 2024.
Yeah. New year means new us.
New us.
New goals.
New things to do in video games.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But first we'll talk about Pokemon. Yeah.
Scarlet and Violet epilogue came out a week or so ago now.
Came out on January 11th.
Yeah.
Right?
So last Thursday, ago. Exactly. Yeah.
I can't believe it's only been a week.
I know. It feels like it's been way longer.
It does feel way longer.
Yeah. And now that the game is finally finished. How quotation? What do you mean? Why
just because people can still play it.
What do you mean?
Like it's not necessarily finished if you haven't finished it, I guess. But I guess they're not going to be releasing anymore.
Exactly. That's all I meant. Is that everything for Scarlet and Violet is now
out,
released.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to be like, just epilogue part 2.
No.
I was going to be like, you have insider info.
I don't. It's done.
It's finally, the whole product is now released.
It is a complete game.
It's complete game.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we've both played and finished the epilogue.
Yeah.
So what'd you think of the epilogue?
Weird.
Yeah.
But also are we doing spoilery stuff for it?
Yeah, I think it's
okay. I think it's fair to
pretty
do that.
Short.
Yes, it's very short.
But if you haven't played it, check back in with us in a few minutes, and we should be talking about Scarlet and Violet as a whole at that point.
Yeah.
But I guess if you still haven't played the epilogue, then maybe tune out for a few minutes.
Yeah. So I thought going back to the school and bringing your other friends to Kitakami was cool. I liked that it kind of like finished that part of the story, but the storyline was weird. It feels like it was just like a cop-out on dialogue. And it was just like...
Do you want to describe what you're referring to?
So in this, you get like... You go to Kitakami and then everyone gets like possessed by this like mochi thing. And then...
Cursed mochi.
Cursed mochi. And everyone just says mochi, mochi.
Mochi.
That's the only dialogue that anyone says, really.
That's all they can. They're cursed.
Yeah, they're cursed.
They're not going to do full sentences if they're cursed, you know?
No, they're not.
So,
yeah.
But you weren't a fan.
It just felt silly. Yeah, that's all.
I think the mochi thing has been the most kid game thing that I think Pokemon has done in a long time.
Yes.
Where
it's very childish.
Yeah, and that's okay. I actually,
it's not a bad thing.
I kind of liked that they were leaning into the silliness.
It was silly, and that was fun. But it was like, because it was pretty much just that. That's why it was kind of like, if it was like that was part of it, then it'd be like, okay, that was funny.
Yep.
But it's just like,
you can really get through the entire epilogue in about an hour, and that's fair. It's I don't think it's supposed to be like an entire new part to the DLC or whatever.
No, it's not.
But
even the DLC, you could get through pretty quickly.
You get through pretty quickly for sure. But yeah, they don't introduce any new areas or anything. They don't introduce any new characters. It's just the characters that you played through the base game with, Nimona, Arvin, and Penny, go with you to Kitakami. They meet Kieran and Carmine. And that was I found it was weird in the Teal Mask that you went to Kitakami with 3 randos rather than your 3 friends.
Super strange.
I felt like it would have been better if your 3 friends went because you've already had that established.
But you're apparently this like all-star student, and so they're just like, we want you to do all of these trips, and none of your friends want to, apparently.
Yeah, well, I think the thing with the field trip or whatever to Kitakami, you won like a random draw or like a lotto,
right? Because
of course you did. Anyway,
of course.
And then the 3 other randos who super don't matter for the Teal Mask, and then I found it strange that even for the Indigo Disc, I found it strange that Nimona, because she's so battle focused, didn't also go with you initially to the Blueberry Academy. So it felt a little disconnected for the main characters, or like the 3 supporting characters of base Scarlet and Violet, to not be involved in the DLC like at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Until the epilogue. Yeah. It felt like they were like, oh yeah, these guys. We forgot about these guys.
Right.
Here they are again. Yeah. Sorry. We know you spent most of the game with them. Oops, here they are again.
Oops, forgot about those guys.
Forgot. Sorry. Anyway, here they are. But they meet, and then a lot of the interactions between the 3 original supporting characters, and then now Kieran and Carmine, a lot of those interactions I think are really
they're nice.
They're cute.
Yeah, they're really cute.
Like Arvin is very jealous of Kieran initially because Arvin's like, no, I'm your best friend.
Yeah.
And then Carmine and Nimona are both pretty headstrong and have big personalities. Anyway, but you only really have like a handful of battles. I like that they continue being double battles.
Yes, I like the
throughout the epilogue.
I was talking to a friend the other day about even just the DLC, and they were just like, the double battles are nice.
Yeah, it is a nice change. Yeah. And it does. It's just double battles in general just like add another layer of strategy, and at that point of the game, like you can only really increase the levels so much to increase difficulty. So I think making the end game battles double battles forces you to think and strategize a little bit more, and it's just a good idea.
Or just be like me and just use Mewtwo and just one shot everything.
And that's fine. You can do that, absolutely.
I want to learn how to strategize better. I'm just not good at it.
It's okay. It's all right. Because it's not like the end of the world.
No.
But yes, everyone in Kitakami basically becomes cursed by this spirit peach thing, who is a new Pokemon called Pecharunt.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. My biggest complaint actually is the way that you begin the DLC is so obtuse.
I had to look it up.
Yeah, I think I only kind of got lucky because I think I vaguely remembered someone at some point mentioning that there was this peach decoration or something at the shop in Kitakami.
Right.
But both the Teal Mask and the Indigo Disc DLCs begin just by you going to school and then an NPC shows up.
Yes.
The epilogue only begins if you talk.
You have to interact with this peach thing.
Yeah, this little peach decoration beside the shopkeeper in the like locally owned store in Kitakami. That's it. And then once you're there, you have to then go back to Paldea. It feels very clunky.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Whatever.
I literally had to look it up. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of my complaints is that I had no idea how to start it.
Yeah. There's zero indication from the game at all. Like even if because in order to get the epilogue at all, you have to do a mystery gift to get the special Pecha Berry, whatever it's called. Even if that had flavor text that was like telling you to go to the store in Kitakami or some sort of indication. There is nothing in the game other than, I don't know, your own curiosity, but that isn't enough. That isn't enough conveyance for the player to know where to go. So, and yeah, everyone has a phone and the internet for the most part and can look up where to go, but you should never have to look up what to do in order to do something in a game.
I didn't want to do that, but I was streaming at the time and I was like, I don't want to bore people.
No, you're just going to look around forever.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I'm just going to look it up.
I remember floundering for a bit before I finally happened to get lucky. And
like I knew I had to go to Kitakami.
Yes.
So I was there, and then I was just like, what do I do? Like, I thought I had to go to like Kieran and Carmine's house, and then I was like,
tried that.
Nope, not there. And
and that I think would have made more sense if you went to Kieran and Carmine's house and checked on Kieran, because after the events of the Indigo Disc, Kieran and Carmine are
just like
nowhere to be seen in the Blueberry Academy, and they only appear again once you do the epilogue.
Exactly.
So but yeah, I did like the battles. I liked the battle against Nimona at the end of the epilogue. Her highest level Pokemon is level 87. And there's sort of a thing in the series as a whole where the highest level trainer Pokemon that they've had in the entire series are Red's Pikachu in Heart Gold Soul Silver. And then in BDSP, Cynthia's Garchomp is also level 88.
Okay.
And so those are the two highest. And so Nimona's starter is like one below that. And I just find stuff like that interesting. But then they made Pecharunt itself level 88. So they've hit like another sort of 88. There's like another 88 club member.
Interesting.
And it's Pecharunt. But
the 88 club.
Yeah. But
I never knew that.
Yeah. It's like a minute thing, but it's something that I like to, I don't know, pay attention to. I really like the teams of characters in Pokemon games. Like I think Kieran's team in the Indigo Disc is really good, and the changes that they make to his team from the Teal Mask, because his Indigo Disc team features so many real world, actually good competitive Pokemon that people have used over the years. Like he has an Incineroar, one of the greatest competitive Pokemon of all time, on his team, after he's like trying to and has succeeded at becoming the very best at his school of competitive battlers. His team really represents that.
Nice.
And so there's like storytelling in the team compositions of a lot of these characters that is like,
that's cool.
Really, really good.
See, I wouldn't have known that because I don't pay attention to competitive Pokemon.
I think it's like any series. Like I there's stuff in Spider-Man that would fly over my head completely because I'm not as invested. But it is really cool when a series like this, with as much history as it has these details for the really invested fans. So,
because I mean, we're coming close to 30 years of Pokemon. Yeah. So like, that's a lot of history.
I know. It's a big one. I think 2026 is going to be 30 years.
Yeah.
So we're
Pokemon started the year I was born.
Yeah.
So Cassie and Pokemon will be 30 in the same year.
One in the same.
Yep. It's like I was born with Pokemon.
So that's pretty much it for the epilogue.
It's really short.
Handful of double battles, and there's some story and some like
funny story things.
A little bit of like character arc stuff for Kieran, where he kind of goes back to his former self, and then
actually there's one other thing.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard about Penny?
No.
Penny's dad.
Who's Penny's dad?
Apparently, Penny's dad is the guy from the DLC in Sword and Shield in the Crown Tundra.
With the like mining
name?
stuff?
Yeah.
Peony?
Yes.
Really?
Apparently, that's Penny's dad. And the way that this has been discovered is one of the dialogue pieces when she's asked, like she's on the phone with her dad about going on this trip. He says Aventor or whatever.
Oh.
Which is like the thing that Peony says.
That Peony says.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's so
it
interesting.
wasn't like clearly stated, but he said that in the dialogue.
Oh, wow. I completely missed that. Because Peony, that's a whole thing in the Crown Tundra, is Peony's daughter, I think Peonia?
Yeah.
Is like, that's a whole thing of the Crown Tundra, is he just wants to spend more time with his daughter.
Yeah.
So he has another daughter? I mean, Penny's...
No, but Penny is like a nickname for Peonia.
I think they're two separate.
Oh, you think they're two separate?
Yeah, because Peonia is in the Crown Tundra. She's her own character. No, it's okay. But that's interesting. I wonder, maybe they're, I wonder if they're half sisters.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe?
I mean, it's also just a rumor. It's not confirmed.
Yeah,
but
that's very interesting. Yeah, wow. Because the whole thing in the Crown Tundra is Peony is he's like an overbearing father, and he just wants to spend time with his kids or kid, but now maybe kids.
Yeah.
But that's very interesting. I wonder. Yeah. I like that they're tying more characters to each other, like they did with Lacey and her dad is one of the gym leaders in Black and White, and Drayton is the grandson of a gym leader in Black and White. So I like that they're doing that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But again, that's pretty much it for and then after you do the epilogue, that unlocks the final 3 special coaches in the league room.
Oh, interesting. And I haven't done any of the special coaches stuff yet.
Okay. So you asked me, I was streaming Scarlet.
Yeah, I think it was when you were doing the epilogue.
Yeah, and I think you asked me like, what's worth doing? Like if you're not interested in like doing everything.
I wish I was. I just don't have the time to do it.
And that's totally fair, because there is a lot to do, but I would argue that not all of it is totally worth doing. Mm-hmm. So the big thing I would say is you can catch, I think it's like 25 or 26 legendaries.
I want to do that.
Yeah, I think that's worth doing, especially if you don't have those legendaries already. Like from playing all of the Pokemon games, I have all of these legendaries already. Yeah. But I find it a waste to play a Pokemon game and not catch the legendaries. Like if you go through the trouble of playing through the entire story, you may as well go get the legend. Exactly. They're once per game.
Yeah.
So they are in a way a limited resource. Mm-hmm. So since they're available, it's like a big part of the Indigo Disc, I would say, is the legendary. So I would say do that for sure. The only thing is they're gated behind doing group quests.
Yes.
With the BBQs.
Which I have a friend who actually, I think Saturday we're gonna get together and we're gonna do.
And you're gonna
BBQs
knock them
together.
out. Sweet. Yep. That's good.
Yeah.
Because you need a lot of BP for some other stuff in the League Club room, and the item printer is the big one. Otherwise, I want
to at least finish my Paldea decks.
Yeah.
I haven't finished any of them yet. I was like, initially I wanted to finish all of them, but I'm like, okay, if I can at least finish one, then I'll be happy.
I think
get that shiny charm.
That's the big one. The rewards that you get from the other 2 Pokedexes, I think, are not as useful or valuable as the shiny charm.
Yeah.
And it really depends on your goals. Mm-hmm. But I think like if you want to do shiny hunting, then the shiny charm would be beneficial for you for sure, just to save time.
I've never really done shiny hunting, but I'd like to learn how.
Yeah.
I've only ever found like 3 shinies in my entire life.
Right. And were they all in Violet? Or were they scattered?
It might be more than 3. It might be a bit more than that. But
okay.
I found 3 in Violet. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. I found some in other games too.
Yeah. But the odds become really good when you have the shiny charm.
Yeah, exactly.
And they can become even better through other means. But even just like playing through the epilogue, I stumbled on a shiny Stantler.
Nice.
So because spawns are so abundant in Scarlet and Violet, there's Pokemon popping up all over the place. Yeah. You're bound to run into them every so often.
Yeah, exactly. And that's usually what it is. It's just like I would just randomly run into it and I'm like, oh, this is a shiny Pokemon.
But I'd say for you, it's like, since you love Mudkip so much, if you specifically wanted to get like a shiny Mudkip, then you'd want to look for like a Mudkip mass outbreak and then make like a shiny water encounter sandwich.
Exactly.
And there's other ways to increase your odds.
And that's exactly what I would want to do, is like find Pokemon that I actually really want to own the shiny of.
Yeah.
And then, increase my odds with sandwiches and stuff. And then do it that way.
Yeah. And so far they've had events in the game where they'll have mass outbreaks of Pokemon and they'll have more mass outbreaks in all 3 of the maps now, Paldea, Kitakami, and the Terrarium. And sometimes, not every event so far, but some of the events, the mass outbreaks have had increased shiny odds.
Oh, interesting.
Which has been cool. So like one of them was, I think, Flabebe, Litwick, and Milcery. Flabebe and Paldea, Litwick in Kitakami, and Milcery in the Terrarium. And all 3 of those had increased shiny odds.
Oh, cool.
And so I got like 2 shiny Litwick in like 10 minutes.
Wow.
That's
crazy.
And that's with the event with its increased odds plus the shiny charm.
Yeah.
It makes, if there's an event, same thing with around Christmas, there was a Delibird event.
Yeah.
Also increased shiny odds. I'm pretty sure. So, there's a chance later in the lifespan of Scarlet and Violet where they have like a starter mass outbreak event or something where Mudkip becomes more readily available through mass outbreaks. Yeah. And they're continuing, even though the games are now like finished in the sense of there's the base game and the 2 DLCs and the epilogue now.
Done, but the Terra Raids are still going.
Yeah, they're still updating the games. So like this past weekend and this weekend coming, there's a 7-star Blaziken.
I need to do
for instance. That. Yeah, if you want help with it, let me know. I'll help you. Although since you're playing with your friend this weekend, I'm sure they'll probably, if they haven't done it already.
Yeah, I don't know if they have.
But if you need help, I'll be around. So they're going to continue doing the 7-star raids. It looks like. I imagine they're probably also going to have more legendaries come out this way. Like Dialga and Palkia aren't available to catch through the legendaries available in the Indigo Disc, but they were available just as a Terra Raid event. So they might bring them back. They brought Walking Wake and Iron Leaves back as well as Terra Raids. So that's interesting that like they're introducing new Pokemon like Walking Wake and Iron Leaves. Yeah. And then they're only making them available through timed raids. And these are Pokemon that can't breed to make more of, like they're legendaries. Yeah. So, and they're lost to timed events, which sucks. I'm hopeful.
Makes them more limited, I guess.
Yeah, I'm hopeful maybe at like the tail end of Scarlet and Violet's life when they actually move on to like Gen 10 or something, if they have a permanent Terra Raid that's Walking Wake and Iron Leaves, so they're not lost to time forever. Yeah. That would be nice.
That would be good.
But I'm worried they don't do that.
Yeah, who knows what the future of Pokemon looks like at this point.
But now that the games are finished, I'm planning on, once I'm done my Requestathon thing on my stream, the next thing that I'm planning on doing is a full playthrough of Violet, because I'd like to have a more recent sort of, playthrough of this game.
And your main one that you played has been Scarlet, right?
Has been Scarlet, yeah. Cool. So I also need to play Violet to get, there's 3 out of 1,025 Pokemon.
God, that's so many Pokemon.
I'm missing 3.
Oh.
Which are Miraidon, and then there's 2 new version exclusives in the Indigo Disc.
Oh, okay.
That that I need. So they're it, and then I've got all the guys, and I'm all up to date.
Wow, crazy.
I know. But yeah, so I want to play through Violet very soon. But at least now my thoughts on the games as a whole are overall good.
Yeah.
If you don't consider the performance and the limitations there.
Yeah.
If you can push that aside for a second and just look at this game for what it is, the ideas it brings, and its merits, I actually think it's one of the best Pokemon games. I think open world is really great for the Pokemon format. I think seeing Pokemon walking around in the open world so you can decide specifically what you want to interact with rather than engage with random encounters. I like random encounters because I like the mystery of it and the sort of almost the loot box effect of it.
Right.
But it can get annoying when you're looking for like a 1% guy.
It's annoying
for half an hour. It just like halts your progress if you're playing through a story and you just want to catch a guy for your team. So I love overworld encounters ever since they've introduced them since like the Let's Go games.
Yeah.
And I think the maps like Paldea, I think is relatively well designed. One of the issues that folks had with Paldea was that it was pretty sparse in areas.
Right.
And they kind of fixed that with both Kitakami and the Terrarium, where there's more variance and more interest in places. So that's great that they're like getting better at creating these 3D environments. And they're also, I don't know, I think like, again, without performance issues or glitches or whatever, traversing with Koraidon or Miraidon is fun. I think flight is a good thing.
Yep.
All of the options for traversal is good. I think the new synchro machine mechanic with the Indigo Disc is cool to be able to like run around as a Pokemon.
I don't know about that.
Oh, really?
I don't think so.
Oh.
It's not. That's fine. But cool. That sounds cool.
Sorry, I thought you might have found that by now.
No.
Okay.
What is it?
I'll show you. So, you
can show me later.
There's an NPC in the Indigo Disc, and when you talk to them, they're like a scientist. And when you talk to them, they're like, "Hey, I've developed this machine," and you put your mind in the mind of your Pokemon.
Fine.
Is how they have contextualized it, I guess. Anyway, but it lets you run around as whatever Pokemon you want. Any Pokemon in the game works with this.
Whoa.
You can only do it in the terrarium,
yeah,
which is kind of a shame, but I understand it has to have its limitations because it's kind of a crazy thing that they've taken the Let's Go thing, not the Let's Go games, but the Let's Go feature in Scarlet and Violet where you hit the R button and it sends them out in auto battles. They've taken that and let you control the Pokemon effectively. So since they already had all those animations for all those Pokemon, they just now let you control it, which is great.
That's cool.
The only issue with it, the only oversight I would say, is if you run into a shiny Pokemon when you're in synchro mode and your character stays loaded in the area, but if you run far enough away from your character and the Pokemon around your Pokemon that you're controlling are in this area, when you cancel the synchro mode and you kind of warp back to where your character is, all of these Pokemon get unloaded. And then it loads then Pokemon around where your character is. I think the fix for that is instead of your Pokemon going back to your character goes to where your Pokemon is. And then it keeps the Pokemon in that area loaded. Yeah. And then you don't lose out on a shiny Pokemon if you find it. Yeah. Because when you're in synchro mode, you can only run around and battle as in like the auto battle. Yeah. There's you don't open a menu and throw a Pokeball or anything. Okay. Your Mudkip's not going to throw a Pokeball at another shiny Mudkip, you know? So it is a great feature. A lot of people online have been like stoked about the ability to play as their favorites and actually run around with them. Cool. And they've honestly have improved the animations and the models of a lot of the Pokemon. And they've given them really nice little details like specific sound effects for a lot of their walks and stuff. Just that they're really they care.
Yeah.
You can tell that the people actually doing the work give a shit.
Yeah.
And I've talked before on this podcast where the people in management, it doesn't feel like they give a shit, but the people making the games,
they do.
It is unfair to blame them for the shortcomings of these games because I do not think it is their fault.
Yeah. And like we said before, like it's time that is the issue, not the people.
Yeah. So overall, Scarlet and Violet have a lot of really great things to offer. And I haven't even gotten into like the quality of life improvements that they've iterated on these games so much over the years to make getting into competitive Pokemon much more accessible for people. You don't even have to breed anymore to make a competitive team. You can turn your starter Pokemon into a competitively viable Pokemon because you can hyper train it. You can give it mints to change its nature. All these different things that they've added to make it so the guys that you have, you can still use in these other contexts.
Yeah.
And it's all of these things are good. It's just really the only major shortcomings are the performance issues. And it sucks. It's so disappointing. And like, cause you can see the potential of what these games could be. And then you look at other games on the Switch.
It's still such a good game. I agree. It's one of the best Pokemon games that exist. And I mean, like, I haven't played Pokemon as deeply. You okay, Yellow? He's a little sore from his run today. But like, I haven't played these Pokemon games as extensively as you have, but I've been really into them since, I guess, X and Y was the first Pokemon game I ever fully like finished the story of. And then I didn't play Sun and Moon, but then after that I've been like very into them. And so like it's nice to see that that's where Pokemon is going and that they are still doing different things, but the performance definitely has turned a lot of people away from it, and it sucks that that's the case. Yeah,
people are completely avoiding these games based on the performance issues, and I get it. It can be frustrating. It can sour the experience completely.
Totally.
With the lag and pop-in and all these things. Pop-in is actually one of my biggest complaints.
Same.
It's like I can kind of deal with lag, but pop-in, and also if like a model of a Pokemon or a person is kind of far away from you, they move at like PowerPoint frame rate, and
which that like I kind of get. They're like trying to save frames, but it is annoying.
Yeah.
The worst part is when you're like just going fast, trying to travel somewhere on your ride Pokemon, and then all of a sudden a Pokemon pops up in front of you and you're like, I don't want to run into them.
Yeah.
And like that has happened so many times where I'll like even just be like in a mass outbreak and I'll just like move like at a tiny speed and then I'll interact with Pokemon. I'm just like, this is so annoying.
Yeah. So all of they've been improving like on as far as like developing 3D spaces.
Yeah.
They've been improving ever since the wild area in Sword and Shield.
Yes.
Right. They've been iterating on so many like, again, quality of life things and making the game more accessible and allowing you to really cater your experience. All very good ideas. Even taking it back to the Pokemon themselves that they've introduced in Generation 9. I love so many of the new designs.
Yeah, me too.
Right? Like I think Tandemouse and Mousehold, adorable, so funny. I love when they scream. I love how they evolve. That's so funny. Just Tinkaton.
Tinkaton's great. Ceruledge.
Yeah, Ceruledge and Armarouge are so cool. Right? There's only like a couple of, like Oinkologne isn't one of my favorites. I really like Lechonk. Yeah. And then its evolutions are a little disappointing. But for the most part, a lot of the new designs in Gen 9 I really like. And I really don't like the idea that Pokemon has been running out of ideas. And that's been a critique for years. That's been a critique since Generation 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's so many good ideas. And again, the people working on it care. And it just sucks that they don't have the time to make what they probably all want to be able to make.
Totally.
So I am optimistic for Generation 10.
Mm-hmm.
I hope there is not a remake anytime soon. I hope they are just focusing on Gen 10. And if there are spinoffs or whatever, they're outsourcing them because that usually happens anyway.
Yep.
And that's my hope right now. But overall, Scarlet and Violet are good games.
They are good games.
If you haven't tried them, I recommend giving them a shot. And if you don't...
Just be okay with playing at like 18 frames a second.
Yeah.
I think I agree with all of that. I think what I would like to see in the next generation of Pokemon, I want the being able to throw a Pokeball to catch a Pokemon from Legends Arceus in Gen 10.
Sure.
I would love to see that. Also, I mean, there's so many Pokemon now. I think it gets a little overwhelming with having the dexes be that big, especially with this past game where it was, 400 in the main dex and then another 200 in the DLC, each DLC dex or whatever. I don't remember exactly the numbers, but like close to that.
Yep.
And so then that's 800. But you said it was over 1,000 Pokemon to catch in just this game. So
it's over 1,000 total.
Okay.
In Pokemon Home.
Okay.
But in just this game, it's about 850.
Yeah. So that's a lot of Pokemon. Mm-hmm. And only so many of them are Gen 9. Mm-hmm. I think if the dex was smaller, but still introduce new Pokemon and then just, people can transfer from Home if they want, or like in DLC, add some more, but I just feel like it was just a little too big for me, at least.
Okay.
As someone who I'm a casual Pokemon player, I don't necessarily have the time to catch that many Pokemon.
Totally.
That's partly why I haven't finished. I'm at like the main dex. I think I have like almost 350 or more than a little over 350. So like I'm close, but it's still just like, oh my gosh.
I think it would be great if they made the criteria for the shiny charm less about completing the Pokedex.
Right.
And maybe, I don't know, getting maybe like halfway through. That'd still be like 200 guys, right?
Yeah, true.
And that would be, I don't know, maybe there'd be some sort of other reward. But yeah, I don't know that like...
I mean, it'd be cool to have all the Pokemon in a Pokemon game. I understand why they have so many now, because they have so many Pokemon. People want their favorite Pokemon in their game.
Yeah.
But it's still just like, it's a lot.
But there's also the issue that not every Pokemon is available in these games.
No, it's not.
Like, you can't get Togepi.
No, you can't get Togepi.
You mentioned last episode.
I did.
And I didn't realize that yet. And I was like, oh, I really like Togepi.
I really like Togepi too.
So, yeah, and that's been an issue that they introduced since Sword and Shield. And that one... I completely disagree with. Like, I agree, limit the amount of Pokemon that you can actually obtain.
In a game? Keep the deck smaller, but allow people to have...
But if I have a guy in Home, at least let me transfer it into the game.
Exactly.
There's no reason why that isn't the case.
But I guess maybe they're like, well, we have to put the data in anyways and make it possible to play with this Pokemon in that game. Then may as well be in the Pokedex or whatever. But
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, there's plenty of Pokemon in, like, there's so many legendaries.
Sure, there's a lot that aren't in any of the dexes.
Yeah, that you can only, like, Arceus is in Scarlet and Violet, but you can only get it by transferring it into Scarlet and Violet. Why can't I transfer in the rest of the Pokemon?
Yeah.
And there aren't that many that can't get in. There's only like 100 or so that can't get in. Why?
Yeah.
Why? It feels arbitrary and exclusionary, and I don't like it.
Bring Togepi back.
Bring Togepi. Yeah, I'm going to start a petition.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my one thing. I agree with limiting the decks for sure. But I do think that, like, and maybe you have a criteria where you have to beat the game or something before you're allowed to transfer guys in.
Yeah.
And I don't even like that rule because, again, that feels inaccessible and exclusionary for anyone. Because I think the point is that people should be able to play with the guys that they like.
Yeah.
In every game. Like, if a guy exists in a generation,
it should be able to exist.
It should be able to
games.
Be in that game. Yeah. So,
and maybe not previous generations of it, but like,
Yeah. And I agree too. I think with the Legend Arceus throwing mechanic,
that was really nice. That's like, because like a lot of the time, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I'll just get into a battle, throw a quick ball, and then get out.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want to have to wait for the whole animation and be like, oh, with the abilities and all that stuff. Like I just want to throw the Pokeball.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah.
I was debating about like my thoughts on that for a while, just on my own and thinking about like would it actually, if that mechanic was in Scarlet and Violet, would it take anything away? No, it just gives, because it doesn't, like you can still walk up to a Pokemon and battle them
exactly
the old fashioned way anyway, because you could do that in Legends. Yeah. So yeah, I think if you want to I think it's all about giving the player choice.
Exactly.
And that's the most important part. Let people
play the way they want to play.
Yeah. And yeah, I think, yeah. And I would probably use the overworld catching very often. Because I mean, I did it a lot in Legends anyway.
Yeah, I did too.
I was just like chucking balls left, right, and center.
Just like, here we go.
Yeah.
Catching Pokemon.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think it would take away from the experience at all. So
overall, though, I'm happy with the game. I'm excited to continue playing it now that, you know, there's no more story stuff. I can just focus on catching guys. So
yeah, what are your goals now with Violet?
I think just trying. I mean, I want to do that Blaziken thing, and then just work on completing the decks. That's really
just the base, Paldea
decks, and then get the legendaries.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay,
we'll see. But it's kind of just like trying to fill out what I have.
Yeah, cool.
I have some trading stuff I want to do. Just like I like doing the surprise trades.
Oh, okay, cool.
Trade stuff, just you know, doing random trades, see what I get, and that helps fill out the decks too. And I just like I have a whole bunch of Pokemon that I just like. I only like to have like one of each one, unless there's, you know, it's a shiny or something special about it. So I'm just like, oh well, I don't need these guys. I'll just get rid of them.
Yeah, and especially because the BPs have so many things where it's like catch a type of Pokemon or whatever, you end up getting a bunch of extras from doing those anyway.
And like, I don't have enough space in my boxes for all these guys.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves.
Yes.
About now that the DLC is out, I can't believe they haven't put more storage space in these games.
I can't either. Can you even fit everybody? I don't know.
So you can have one of everything in the game in but you run out of space. This is an issue. Like I have a full living dex in Generation 3 in my Fire Red, and that left me with one box left. And I had thought that would never be an issue again in any other Pokemon game. It is an issue in the newest Pokemon game, which blows my mind. I thought the DLC would add, it looks too, when you're looking at the boxes, it looks like there's one more row where there could be like another 8 boxes or so of 30 Pokemon per box.
You'd think that they add another whole freaking Pokedex that they would add more boxes.
Yeah, they had 443 more guys.
Yeah.
I would like more space, especially because of the BP, you need the space. I don't want to have to release guys.
No, exactly.
And you shouldn't expect your players to have Pokemon Home either.
No.
If they want to keep stuff.
I don't use Pokemon Home.
No, because
really. I mean, I have it because I the only reason why I used it was because when I initially sold my 3DS, I transferred all of my guys from Y into Pokemon Home.
Yeah.
But now they live there.
Yes. But the base game shouldn't expect the player to have home.
No.
And it feels like that's what Scarlet and Violet do is they're like, well, you have extra space in home, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, you shouldn't rely on that. Yeah. That's one of my biggest, I forgot about that. Thanks for bringing that up so I could be fucking mad about it.
Great.
Anyway, I think we put the bow on Scarlet and Violet.
I think that's it.
I know,
Scarlet and Violet. Yeah. We've talked about it so much on this podcast, almost every episode.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
No, I love it.
It has been one of the main things that I've been spending time on the past while.
Same.
But I am kind of looking forward to playing other things.
Yeah, I've been playing other things in between it, I guess, but I'm excited to see just what comes next for Pokemon.
I am optimistic about Gen 10.
Yeah.
The next Pokemon Presents is going to be February 27th.
Oh, cool.
So we'll see. That's International Pokemon Day.
Right.
So we'll see what's next. I think our next episode, just as like a segment, I want to do like a bingo card.
Yes.
For what's going to be on Presents.
But
that'll be next time on Frostbytes.
That'll be February.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our gaming backlogs.
Yeah.
The dreaded backlog that Every gamer has.
Mhm.
My issue with my backlog is that I tend to buy a lot of games on launch
Mhm.
and then maybe play them the day they come out
Mhm.
and then but be really into a different game
Mhm.
at that time, and so then I put it off and never finish it.
Yeah.
Never go back.
Yeah, I have a similar issue. I definitely, I would say, make the mistake of buying games at launch that I don't necessarily really want to play right away. It's just something about
The hype.
It's something about the hype and also having it so I do have access to it whenever I do want to play it.
Mhm.
But then there's no kind of immediate kind of there's nothing really. I don't know. I guess unless it's like a Pokemon or something else that I'm actually excited about.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not excited about the games. How do I? It's so tricky. But yeah, you get a game.
I know exactly what you mean.
You get a game because you're like, I know I'm going to want to play this eventually.
Yeah.
And I don't want to risk it going up in price, becoming harder to find. So yeah, I think my issue is I will start a game, I'll play it once or twice or whatever, and then something else will come up and I'll push it aside. And this has been a recurring thing. And I keep telling myself, I'll come back to it. And I never
do.
I rarely to never do.
Yeah.
It sucks. And yeah. And a big thing too is I find I tend to gravitate towards comfort games or like default games, such as Pokemon or live service games that don't like have a story and an ending. Like I'll play card games like Legends of Runeterra or Marvel Snap.
Right.
Or I'll play shooters like Overwatch or now recently the finals or whatever. And I mean, those are especially at least with Overwatch and the finals, those are social with friends. And I don't think I would ever like turn down playing a game with friends in like to play a single player game on my own. I think I only want to do that in my own time. But I still in my own time will do again, like the live service games or the comfort games or whatever, instead of playing all these amazing games that I own and just don't make any amount of progress in. Yeah. Which sucks.
I feel that 100%. I have so many games and like, there's a certain part of me. I mean, I rarely finish games, but I want to complete games so badly. Like in my heart, I am a completionist. But in reality, I just don't get anything done. And so then lately I've made a goal for myself to finish the story only. Don't worry about side stuff. Just like finish the story of a game. And even then, I'm still falling back on it.
I think that's a good plan. I think eventually it'll work if I had time to play video games. I get that.
But as someone who, does a million things, I don't have a lot of time.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes you're just like, not to make excuses, but sometimes you're just like tired after a day and you just want to play something that is
what it is.
Comfort.
Yeah.
So you'll just like do Fortnite or I'll just do Pokemon.
Yeah. A lot of the times, I'm tired. It's at night, but I don't want to not play a game that day. So I'll play Fortnite. Sometimes I'll even play it by myself. Yeah. Or I'll play, lately I've been playing Mario Wonder, which has been awesome, but it's an easy to pick up game that I don't have to commit a whole lot of time to. Where a lot of these like single player story based games, which I love, one of my favorite types of games to play, you have to commit time to it.
And those are predominantly the games that are on a backlog or games that we consider to be on a backlog, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Fortnite is never going to be something that's on the backlog. Even if you don't play it for a long time, it doesn't have a campaign or something.
No, it doesn't.
That you need to like play and finish. Yeah. It is predominantly the story-based games. And I don't know. I think another thing that kind of like steals my time is just scrolling aimlessly on my phone when I could be.
You could be playing something.
I could be playing.
That's the thing I always try to remind myself of.
Yeah.
It's like I just spent an hour on TikTok.
Yeah.
I could have gotten so far in the game, or I could have edited a whole video
like
in that time.
Yeah, exactly. Like that could have been X amount of levels in Mario Wonder.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So part of it, I think, is being mindful. For me, I've been catching myself lately when I'm on my phone and I'm scrolling. What's really nice actually is sometimes when I'll be scrolling, people will post reels or whatever, and it'll like actually kind of like check me, and it'll just say like a checkpoint or something, and it'll just be something like, hey, stop scrolling, or it'll be like, hey, how are you actually? But it'll like take me out of the like dopamine thing of just like endless memes or whatever, and then I'll be like, oh yes, and then put my phone down and go and do something else. So those
brains work.
I know, it's so weird, but those have been nice whenever I do happen upon them after like an hour or two of scrolling, which sucks. But
it's like the Netflix, are you still watching?
It literally, yeah, but for reals. And I think TikTok has something built in where if you do scroll for long enough, then it does actually like prompt you.
I haven't hit that before. That's good.
It's probably a good thing.
Although I do have like the timers on my phone where I can only go on the apps for a certain amount of time.
Oh, interesting.
But then you can just press ignore.
Yeah. You're like, no. I am in control.
Like, no, I'm doing this.
Yeah, and no, you're not. So those are some of the obstacles
of backlogs,
I'd say.
Yeah.
I just a separate question. If you're ever playing a single player game like Mario Wonder, whatever, do you have anything else on in the background, or do you watch anything? Are you listening to anything while you're playing through a single player game, or are you focused on that one experience?
It depends on what it is.
Okay.
Usually I'm pretty focused on that one thing.
Yeah.
If I'm playing, a lot of times, like if I'm playing Pokemon, I'll have like YouTube videos on.
Okay.
Because I'm just running around catching guys.
Okay.
A lot of the Mario Wonder, I guess that's one that I could do that with. But if it's like, a story-based game, no.
Yeah.
I'd be like focused.
Yeah. Depends on how much the game is demanding your attention.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try to, unless if I'm playing like a live service, like a card game, whatever, card games are perfect. I'll throw on a Twitch stream on one monitor, card game on the other monitor. Yeah. And that's great. But if I'm playing a single player game, I want to strictly be focused on that. And so it's because I don't want to miss anything.
Yeah, exactly. Usually it's like I want to be focused. I mean, like the other day I was on a flight and I was just like listening to music on Spotify while playing Mario Wonder, on silent basically. And so
I find it interesting when people play games on silent, because I really enjoy like sound effects.
I do too.
And the music of games. Yeah. And I figured you would as well, but I find it interesting that sometimes you would play.
This was the first time I did it.
Okay.
With, at least specifically with Mario Wonder.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, I just like want to listen to some vibey like synthwave music, because that's what I'm really into.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I'll still want to play this game too.
Yeah.
So I just tried it out, and it was okay.
Okay.
I think I did miss having the sound effects and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I find that interesting.
Mm.
Anyway, so what sorts of games are on your backlog?
I made a list.
You made a list. Very good.
Too big.
You came prepared.
I came prepared. So I made my note. It says backlog, very overwhelming.
Yeah. Could you if this is too much, don't worry about it. But could you maybe tell me how long a game has been on your backlog, if you can remember, like maybe the first time you played it, or is that too much?
No, I don't think that's too much.
If you can remember, or like a rough idea of maybe how long you've been waiting on a game. The
oldest thing on my backlog. Like, so I guess it's different from since I've owned the game. So like there's two that I'm looking at right now. Mario Odyssey. I've started, but I haven't finished playing it. I only recently picked it up in the last 6 months, probably. And then played it once, but I've wanted to buy it before that.
Yeah.
I think Mario 3D All-Stars I bought on launch.
Yeah.
I played a little bit of 64, but didn't finish it. And I haven't touched it since.
That one's an interesting case because that was legitimately a limited release window.
Oh, it's like one of the rarest Switch games you can get.
Which sucks, by the way.
Yeah.
But anyway, I agree. I got my copy of 3D All-Stars because I was like, I need to now, even if I don't touch it right away. That one I think I could justify. Like
keeping it, not having it on the backlog?
Yeah, like that one I think I could justify getting before actually wanting to play it, because otherwise it would have been it would have been gone.
Yeah, totally. Well, I guess the thing with that one is, I mean, I've played Mario 64. It was like Super Mario 64.
Mhm.
I think I played the DS version,
Mhm.
but and I've played Sunshine,
Mhm.
but I haven't played Sunshine all the way through. I haven't played Galaxy. I know,
Whoa.
which is crazy because Wii was like the biggest console I had
Mhm.
growing up, but I never played Galaxy.
Wild.
So I'm excited to play it
Okay.
on that,
Cool.
especially with because Galaxy and Odyssey are like very similar.
Mhm.
So I'm excited to play that. But besides that, there's a lot of things on here. Some of them I don't even know if I'll end up playing. I separated them by console.
Mhm.
So I recently bought an Xbox. I have Starfield,
Mhm.
Hi-Fi Rush,
Mhm.
and Halo Infinite campaign on there.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll ever actually play the Halo Infinite campaign.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, yeah, I have it.
Yeah.
Should probably play it.
Yeah. That's a nice thing about Game Pass too, is
Yes.
there's
I have the physical. Those are ones I have, or I guess Hi-Fi Rush I don't have physical of. Halo Infinite I do have physical.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But I would say Game Pass games, like, I feel like there's less of a guilt there.
Yeah.
Maybe, unless that's just me.
And these are games that I've already started
Okay.
and have, not games that I
Own but haven't even touched.
No, this includes those.
Oh, okay.
But this doesn't include games I don't own but want to play.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's a whole nother
That's
thing.
a whole other thing.
Yeah. So for PS5, I have Stray, which I haven't started yet.
Mhm.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Mhm.
I bought that game, and it came out the same day as the Tears of the Kingdom Switch, I
Okay.
think. Played it the first day
Mhm.
for like an hour,
Mhm.
and then haven't picked it up since. I loved the first one. I also have the book written by Sam Meggs, who I met at HalCon this year.
Cool.
She wrote a book that was in between the two Star Wars Jedi games.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And apparently it's gay. And I'm very excited.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And it like really dives into some of the characters. So I've started reading the book. I got the book at HalCon,
Mhm.
but then I put it away for Christmas. So
Okay.
I've started reading it recently.
Mhm.
And I'm like, do I read the book first and then play the game, or do I play the game and read the book later? I don't know. I think I'm reading the book first.
Okay.
Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart,
Mhm.
another game that Sam Meggs worked on. She was a writer on
Wow.
it. Yeah. She also worked on the Spider-Man games. Really cool. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I'm most of the way through that game, actually.
Okay.
I'm like probably 3/4 through that game,
Yeah.
but haven't finished it.
Yeah.
So just want to finish it. Need to platinum Spider-Man 2
Mhm.
and the other Spider-Man games.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's going to happen. I want to at least try to get one of them.
So that's interesting, is like having achievement based backlog goals.
Yeah.
Separate from just like playing the story of the
See,
game.
Spider-Man's the only one. Spider-Man and Zelda are the only ones that I actually care about. Actually, Zelda, I don't know if I do.
Okay.
But I do have that on my list too.
But any game that you're especially invested in,
Yeah.
you really want to do everything that it has to offer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hogwarts Legacy.
Mhm.
Last of Us Part 1 Remaster. Guardians of the Galaxy, which I've played a bit of, but I haven't finished.
Okay.
Also, Last of Us I played a bit of. Star Wars Lego Skywalker Saga.
Oh, yeah.
That one's, I think that's just going to be for fun.
Yeah.
And then on the Switch, Super Mario RPG,
Uh-huh.
Mario Wonder,
Uh-huh.
Hades, haven't even started that one yet, Mario Odyssey, Pokemon Violet, I just put to complete the Paldea decks.
Okay.
Tears of the Kingdom side quests. I have other Pokemon games.
Uh-huh.
I have not finished my playthrough of Let's Go Eevee, or New Pokemon Snap,
Okay.
or Brilliant Diamond, or Arceus.
Okay.
Arceus, whatever.
Uh-huh.
3D World and Bowser's Fury, and 3D All-Stars. Yeah, that's my backlog. right
That's
now.
your list.
And I haven't even looked at PC.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pen play anything. Cyberpunk was on my PC, I think, but my graphics card isn't good enough.
Okay. So, what are you prioritizing on that list? Is it just like as it hits you, you're like, yeah, I'll play Let's Go Eevee today, or?
It depends on how I feel.
Yeah.
I think right now it's kind of just like the games that I'm playing right now,
Yeah.
which are I mean, I think the one in the PlayStation is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
2, Starfield on the Xbox, and then switching between Mario Wonder and Pokemon on the Switch right now.
Okay. So you have...
In RPG. Those are kind of my 3 in rotation on the Switch right now.
So you have like a priority or a couple of priorities per system.
Yeah.
So if you're like, I want to play that system. So I think that's kind of an important thing for anyone that does want to kind of tackle their backlog, is like almost making a plan about it. Which
is hilarious, because I've had so many people be like, Cassie, you need to just make a plan about your life or about content creation or about whatever. And it's just like, okay, well, yeah, I'll actually get shit done if I make a plan.
Yeah, and now even your hobby, which is supposed to be chill.
Playing video games, I have a plan.
Yeah, but it's true. Like, I think if you wanted to, and this is, I mean, I haven't done this personally, so I'm certainly, I don't lead by example or anything, but I think just like deciding, maybe it doesn't have to be one game, because maybe that game doesn't like strike you in the moment when you want to play it. But having different games in different genres that are a priority on. And
a lot of it's just like how I feel that day.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, streaming helps with it a lot. I think streaming has helped with me going
kind of
through
like
my
keeps
backlog.
You accountable.
Yeah, because like Mario RPG, I'm only going to play that on stream.
Right.
I think like I'm saving it for stream. It's a pretty short game, so like just going to do it on stream. Mario Wonder is kind of the main one I'm focusing on lately, I think, just because it's been really easy to pick up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. I've got a list on my Switch as well. I have a handful of other games too that I guess are kind of on my backlog, but I think I'm just going to keep it to my Switch. Mm-hmm. And these are games that I've made a decent amount of progress in.
Okay.
All of these. And so I would say, and then I also have a game that I have decided to chop from my backlog completely.
Interesting. I'm excited to hear about that one.
I've removed the life support, and I'm not gonna bother with trying to finish that game anymore.
Honestly, some of the games that are on my list, I think, are in that stage as well.
You kind of have to be honest with yourself. Like, do I actually give a shit about finishing this?
Yeah, like Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't think I'm going to finish it.
Sometimes, you have kind of like an obligation, especially after you start something, or even there's like a sunk cost fallacy to making it a decent way through a game and then feeling obligated to finish it.
Well, I think that's what it is a lot of the time for me, is that I spent $80, $90 on this game.
Right.
I feel like I need to finish it to justify me purchasing.
Sure. I get that. I feel that way more so with like time invested into a thing.
That's fair.
Like if I've played 80% of a campaign, surely I can just finish the other 20%.
Right.
But if doing that other 20% just isn't fun, then why would I subject myself to that? Anyway, the games that I want to finish this year are Bug Fables, which is kind of like a Paper Mario type of game. Really great writing, really cool combat. Big fan. Played through more than half of it.
Nice.
A Garden Story. You play as a little grape, and
so
it's kind of like a top-down Zelda situation.
Okay, cool.
But it also has like a day-night thing. It has some Animal Crossing elements as well. Basically, you have to do a handful of tasks around a number of different villages. And then once you improve a village enough, whether it's security from monsters or you just do a number of things to help out the villagers, then you unlock some dungeon, you go in, you beat a boss, and then you move on to the next place. Super charming game, lovely little pixel art, and then really, again, good writing, good characters. Big fan. This has been a game that I've been like slowly kind of chipping away at for the past few years now.
Okay.
I'll just pick it up every few months, play a day or two of it, like an in-game day or two, and then put it back down. And that feels bad. I would like to just kind of play it and beat it and have it done, because again, I've played most of the game by now. I just haven't finished it and beaten the final boss or whatever. The Messenger is a tricky 2D platformer, kind of based on Ninja Gaiden. and it has a really cool hook where it shifts from I want to say 16-bit to 32-bit. But yeah, it shifts its like presentation in a really cool way, kind of in the middle of the game, which is very cool. The issue I'm having with the messenger is I'm not very good at it. So I get stuck often. And that is just kind of frustrating and a little demoralizing. And so I'll kind of bash my head against a level for a while until I basically give up. And then I put it down for months. And then I kind of pick it back up again when I feel inspired. And I'm like, I think if I jump back in after I've lost all of my like muscle memory and I remember how abilities work, surely when I go back into this difficult level, I'll be able to beat it again. And sure enough, anyway, not very long ago when I picked it up again, I beat a boss that I've been stuck on for a long time. And so that felt good. And then I felt inspired again to like pick it back up, and then I got stuck again. So this is another one that,
good to know I'm not the only one that goes through that.
No, it's a part of games, like movies you watch and the story happens at you. Games you have to play and be good enough to beat for them, unless the game is like extra accessible. And
honestly, that's why I play a lot of games on easy mode.
Yeah, but this is just like well designed, but difficult levels. So I just have to this is just one of those I have to get good situations if I want to continue.
Got to play it every day.
I gotta get better. And the messenger, I'll come back to it in a bit because it's tied to another game on my backlog.
Okay.
Another game that is difficult and similar to the messenger, but I feel feels more attainable than the messenger, or at least I feel more inspired to go back to it, is Hollow Knight.
I want to play Hollow Knight too.
Hollow Knight is one of the best games I've ever played, but again, because it's so tricky, I will give up because I get frustrated.
Yeah.
But I'm so close, Cassie, to the end of Hollow Knight, and it's so...
You gotta finish it before Silk Song comes out.
That's the other thing. I picked it up when I thought Silk Song was like going to be coming soon, and it's been over a year now. I think I started Hollow Knight.
It's gonna come out this year.
It might.
It's gotta.
I heard a theory that it might launch with the Switch too, which could be interesting. But anyway, that's completely conjecture. That's completely anyway. But Hollow Knight I started December 2022.
Okay.
And hasn't been that long comparatively,
right?
To a lot of games.
It's still a decent length.
And I've played a decent amount of it, but again, I'm so close, and I really want to have it done. Pokemon Sword is on here because
honestly, I should put that on mine too.
Yeah.
I haven't finished the Crown Tundra.
The DLC stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. I really only need to play Pokemon Sword for like one Pokemon for my Pokédex.
Oh, I see.
So I'll do that eventually, but that's in here because it is technically, this is a folder that I have called Games on the Go.
Right.
Because they're all happening. I've started them.
Smart making folders. I don't have any folders on
Switch. I really miss the folders from the 3DS, but I'll take the folders on Switch. Mario Wonder's here. I've got 5 of the 6 worlds done.
Nice.
I almost there. And then Sea of Stars is one that I've probably I think it's tied for a game on here that I've played the least amount compared to how much game there is. But the little bit that I played, I loved. It feels like potential for like one of my favorite games of all time. And so I really want to get back to it. Not necessarily the story, but the world is tied to The Messenger. It's the same developer, and they're trying to create kind of a universe with their games. And The Messenger is a 2D platformer. Sea of Stars is basically a JRPG. And in spite of the genre differences, they're still trying to have at least these 2 games be in the same world. That's cool. It feels like they're kind of building this universe where all of their games are going to live inside of this universe, which is such a cool idea. And so that's another reason that I want to play through The Messenger, is to like, if there's Easter eggs in Sea of Stars, I want to be able to like see them and appreciate them and have that deeper, richer experience.
I wanted to play Sea of Stars. It looks like a good game.
It's like so far so good with the game. Really good first impression, I think, combat wise. A little slow story wise, like getting going as far as pacing
right.
goes, but I've heard eventually picks up.
Cool.
But the combat and the exploration and all that stuff alone is phenomenal.
Nice.
I have the Mega Man Battle Network collection on here. This feels like this is the of all of the, if I were to like prioritize all of these, this would even be lower than Pokemon Sword. I think this is something that I think I want to delve into, and I think I want to do these games in order, and I think I want to have pretty much everything else on this list like
Complete.
done and dusted before I move on to this. So yes, I have started Battle Network 1, but I think I will probably get back to that. If my goal is all of these this year, probably end of this year.
Yeah.
If not next year. If this is the one holdover, so be it. But great game. I really like the Battle Network stuff. And I do want to get back to it to experience more of it, but it's less of a priority for me. And then finally, I have Legends Arceus. I finished the story, and the last thing I have to do is complete the Pokedex in this game. And sort of similar. This is like this. I don't know, like what the distinction between backlog and goal is. This feels more like a goal, where like the story is done, but I still have things left to do in the game in order to complete it as much as I want to complete it. So that's interesting. But the one game that I cut, it was the very first game that I got with my Switch in 2018. Octopath Traveler.
Oh.
I played Octopath so much, and I got so far in Octopath. But I'm at a point where it doesn't hold my interest anymore. It isn't really fun anymore. And every time I went back to play it, I was like forcing myself to like put the time in to finish it just so I could say that I finished it. And because of that sunk cost fallacy, I was like, I have to, right? I'm obligated to. It was the first game I got with my Switch. It was the game that I was so excited about and that I loved the beginning of. And it just fell off and became very repetitive. And so I cut that cord and I was like, I'm not, maybe eventually, but I'm not going to make it something that I stress over anymore and feel guilty about. So it's gone and I feel better about it.
Good.
So
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to do that, you know?
Yeah. I think it's healthy.
The backlogs get too big. I think there's a couple games on mine that I'm going to need to do that with soon. It's
part of it is, I think, just being honest with yourself and your time and what you value, and being honest about what you enjoy and not feeling guilty about having to do something, and instead doing something that you actually enjoy doing, which sounds so simple.
It sounds so simple, but it's not as simple as it sounds, which is funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, the backlogs, it's always a funny thing. Like, I guess, so your goal is to play all of those this year. Yes.
I've tried to keep that list relatively short because it feels attainable. If I like keep at it, it feels attainable.
Do you think that, I guess, two-part kind of question. Do you think that this will change throughout the year, like that list? And do you think, because are there, what games that are coming out this year do you think will affect your progress? Well, if Pokemon announces something else for this year, inevitably that's gonna affect my progress. But if that doesn't come out until November, you got time. Then that's good. Yeah. Another game that I just thought of that isn't on that list is Mario RPG. And I don't think I would have an issue adding that game to the list either, because I've gotten 2 of the stars out of the 7, and it's a relatively short game, like you mentioned. Yeah. So I think that would be attainable as well. And kind of looking at like the games that are releasing, I don't know that there are actually many new releases. Like, I think it would have to be kind of a surprise announcement, because there's nothing at the moment that I'm particularly excited about. The last episode we mentioned games that we were anticipating, but the 2 that I mentioned, Mina the Hollower and Haunted Chocolatier, they're not confirmed for 2024. No. So least of all, actually Haunted Chocolatier, because there's a giant Stardew update that's due to come out, and I think that has been a priority for Concerned Ape rather than Haunted Chocolatier. Right. So
if those are the two games that I'm the most excited about, and again, if I'm not just like, because part of it when I worked at a game store, I would get all wrapped up in the hype of new releases, and I would participate in that. And now that I'm away from it, I'm less kind of fussed about things being new and needing to have them.
Yeah.
And I also think I need to be honest about my collection and go through it and decide what I actually want to keep and downsize a bit.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I guess I could look through mine and see if there's anything I need to downsize, but I feel very similar. Like, I need to be honest with myself about what I'm actually going to be able to play this year. Because I don't have a whole lot of time for gaming these days. So it's like I get through things pretty slow.
Yeah.
But I think one of my goals this year is to not pre-order any games unless it's something that I'm very excited.
Like you're 100% like, I'm gonna want, like Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. Like if it was Spider-Man, Zelda, Pokemon kind of thing.
Totally.
I mean, like if a new Switch gets announced this year, I will pre-order that.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
And whatever comes with it. Sure. But last year and the year before, I pre-ordered so many games and got so into the hype. And
then it would come out
and on my list and I haven't played them. So and then it's like, then you see it on sale a couple months later and you're just like, I paid full price for that.
Yeah. Like a chump.
Yeah.
But I'm in the same boat.
Yeah. So I think that's like my main goal this year is just to not pre-order games.
Sweet.
And in doing that, I think that's going to force me to play through my backlog.
It's going to force you to like appreciate what you have already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
You know, it works out because so far this year, there's not a whole lot of games I'm super interested in.
Yeah. It's true. This is a good like trial run year for this idea.
Exactly.
If there's not a lot anyway, kind of like, I don't know, demanding your attention.
Yeah.
Then it'll be a little bit easier to like cut back a bit, I think.
Yeah. And so like looking at my list of like games that I'm looking forward to, half them don't have official release dates yet. And there's only 7 on the entire list. So like overall, I think it's doable. I guess some other goals that I have for this year were to grow. So I was talking before the stream about how I have an ultimate Switch games list.
Yeah.
And especially if the Switch life is ending soon, I do want to start building that up so that, you know, the things are going to get more rare once the Switch is not the current console and stuff. So I have a goal to build my collection, but not buy the games new. And so I'm going to do this by like buy, sell, trade kind of situation, do a little bit of reselling maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of I'll start with what I have currently that I want to get rid of, go through what I have, see if I can sell it on Facebook Marketplace or whatever. I have some friends who like, I've talked to my friends or like some of my friends and I'm like, hey, if you have any old consoles or games that you don't want anymore, sell them to me. And then I'll sell them.
You're not telling them that second part?
No, I'll tell them.
Okay.
That's not a hidden thing, but maybe don't look up what they're right now. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think that's my goal is to kind of do a little bit of that and kind of build this other Switch collection. Because there's like a whole bunch of games that I want, like Hollow Knight, and I want to get and these are all physical copies. I want to get a physical copy of Celeste. I don't know if it's going to be like the Fan Gamer, I think is the first publisher that did. There's like 2 different versions that are physical.
Okay.
Of that, I have a huge list of stuff.
Okay.
Some are like first party, some are not. Some are like limited run stuff. So I want to work on that a little bit. See how far I can go. It probably won't. I won't finish it. I'll probably just add a couple to the collection.
Yeah, it sounds like an ongoing project.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. And then my last goal is to play all the 3D Zelda games.
This year?
I don't know if it'll start this year.
Start this year. Okay.
Start this year.
Cool.
Because I mentioned last year when Tears of the Kingdom came out that one of the things I wanted to do was stream all the 3D Zelda games, starting with Ocarina of Time.
Sweet.
And so I think I would love to start that this year because I think one of the biggest things right now is because my backlog is so big, it's very overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, I don't know what to stream.
Yeah.
And so like I went with Super Mario RPG, and that's what I've been playing recently on stream because I asked my followers and stuff, and I was like, what do I play? And so I think I'm, instead of doing that all the time and being like, guys, what do I play? I have so many games. I'll play a lot of those games. I mean, I'm going to finish RPG on stream. Play a lot of those games on my own, in my own time. And then on stream, I'll focus on Fortnite and 3D Zelda games.
Nice.
Feel like that'll be good.
Yeah.
And then, people are like, oh, I can look forward to seeing all the 3D Zelda games.
Yeah.
We'll see how far I get, but I'd love to, like, a lot of them I haven't played through or I've played parts of during my lifetime, but not like finished them. Right. So that's a goal for me.
That sounds like a good plan.
I think that's what I have for my gaming goals this year.
Sweet.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mine is unfortunately going to get in the way of me completing my backlog.
Yeah.
And it is also Pokemon related. So the Wii U and 3DS online services are shutting down in April. We've talked about that earlier. And Pokemon has said that this isn't going to be affecting Pokemon Bank.
Oh, but they have made a statement now.
Yeah, it was just a tweet.
Okay.
But in the same tweet, they were like, however, do your transfers sooner rather than later. And the vagueness of that is so mean.
Weird.
So it feels like they're definitely planning something related to it shutting down at some point. Or maybe they're gonna rework. I'm hoping, I'm maybe coping even that that bank sticks around and they don't just remove it, because that would be devastating for anyone hoping to transfer from Gens 1 through 7 into the now Gens 8 and 9 on Switch.
Yeah.
Anyway, so because of that fear, I am slowly making my way through Gens 1 through 7, and I am transferring in all of the Pokemon that are like all of the Pokemon that are from that generation.
Yeah.
So all of the Gen 1 Pokemon from Red, Blue, Yellow, all of the Gen 2 Pokemon from Gold, Silver, Crystal, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
This is referred to as an origin dex, where a Pokemon where a Pokemon comes from its original game.
Yeah.
So I've got 1 and 2 done. They're in home. I now need to do 3 through 7. And that's something that I kind of want to do quickly.
Yes.
And I can do it quickly because I mean, I've kind of done a lot of it before.
Right.
The issue is I also want all of these Pokemon to like be from me, because I have a finished Pokedex in my home. The issue is a bunch of the Pokemon in there are from other people that I've either gotten in wonder trades or surprise trades or whatever, or just in I don't know, actual trades from other people. But regardless, like a lot of them, they're not mine, and so for me, it feels like the Pokedex isn't like totally mine.
Yeah.
And maybe that's silly because I have the Pokemon, but I don't feel like ownership over it anymore the way that I used to. Previously, my goal was just to complete it, just have everything, no matter what that took. But now my goal is to do it, own it, exactly, do it myself. And this is a cool way of doing that. And it also gives me a cool excuse to replay Pokemon games.
That's actually something I want to do too, is play. Oh gosh, Yellow's gonna. Okay, good. I thought he was gonna knock over the camera. Is play one of, I guess, aside from my Switch collection goal, another one of my collection goals is to obtain copies of Pokemon and Zelda games.
Yeah.
Like specifically, I'm mostly focused on obtaining one from each gen of Pokemon.
Totally.
And so I have Gen 2 and Gen 3
Mhm.
right now. I have Gen 6.
Mhm.
And I mean, obviously 8 and 9.
Yeah.
But I need to fill the rest out. I'm going to be getting Gen 1.
Okay.
My friend Zach is going to sell me his copy of Red.
Nice.
So that'll be great. And then I need to find... I mean, I'm probably going to try to... I don't know which one. I haven't decided which one in Gen 4 I want yet. And then I'm trying to find... I don't know if I was... Like, do I just get black or white? Or do I get black 2 or white 2? I don't know what's the difference. Like, I didn't play that gen. So, but I've heard that's like one of the best ones. So I'm like, what do I do?
I could get into that now, but do we have time?
Probably not, maybe.
I think the TLDR for Gen 4, get platinum if you can.
That's what I was thinking.
And then for Gen 5, get black and black 2 or white and white 2.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Cool.
And I'll leave it at that.
Yes. Well, yeah. So I think I do want to find a copy of Yellow.
There's one. Found one.
I found a Yellow.
There he is.
And that's exactly what my thought was kind of have like whatever the final, because it wasn't a DLC before, it was
in its own game.
In its own game. Yeah. So that's kind of, I would love to get a copy of Crystal. I have Emerald, and then would love to get Platinum.
Emerald's a big one. Emerald has become one of the most expensive Pokemon games of all time.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
It is. I can't believe how much I paid for that game. But I have a Mudkip, so
it's all worth it.
It's all worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I mean, I grew up on Fire Red.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, I mean, the first Pokemon game I ever played was Yellow.
Mm-hmm.
The next Pokemon game I ever played was Fire Red.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't play Gen 2 when I was growing up, but the next one I played was Fire Red, and my sister, it was my sister's copy. She has it somewhere. I don't know where. It's in her house.
It's in the family.
It's in the family,
yeah.
But I think I should probably buy my own because I don't think she'll ever give it to me. But yeah, good old Pokemon. Always.
Yeah.
That's one of my other goals, is to own a copy from each generation of Pokemon. And then play through them as well.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I don't envy that goal now with the prices and the way they are.
Yeah.
So I'm rooting for you. That
I think Black 2 is probably the second most expensive.
Another, yeah.
Pokemon. Actually, no, Soul Silver I think is the next most expensive Pokemon.
They're up there, especially if they come with a Pokewalker.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, do you have one?
I got my.
You have it in your pocket.
Yeah, I'm walking a Hoot Hoot right now.
Nice.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, that's great. Batteries
in
Chinese card.
Anyway.
Wow, that's awesome.
I always got that thing on me.
Yeah. I see people selling them all the time, and like, I mean, they're just scummy resellers.
People will sell the Pokewalker alone for $100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the game on its own is like 160 or something. And you got to talk about complete and the manual and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. All that stuff.
Like, I just want the cartridge.
Yeah. I know you're a huge physical guy, but at what point does the price become so much that you just on your new modded 3DS, do you just play them on there?
I could. I still need to figure out how to get them on there. I guess that's the first
I can help
thing.
you with that.
Okay, sweet. That'd be great. Yeah, I mean, like, that is a thing. I would like to own the physical copies, but you're right. The prices are getting pretty outrageous. So unless I can find a good deal on it.
Yeah, I don't know where your desire is on having them versus playing them.
I mean, I want to play them.
Yeah.
I don't want to just have them. I want to play them eventually.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think right now my goal is if I can find it under what the value is on price charting.
Yeah.
Then I'm happy. Yeah.
Cool.
So with Emerald, I bought it below. And and same with Gold, I bought it below what price charting says.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my main goal with is don't buy it if it's above.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want it that bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I know what it's worth.
Yeah.
You know? But it's like, I want to pay a little bit less.
Yeah. Yeah. Get a little bit of a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Then I'll feel slightly less bad about it. But,
sweet.
Yeah. Well, that's cool goals.
Yeah. I think we can do it. I believe in us. And we can check back in with each other, like, on the podcast. And
each month we'll see how our gaming goals are doing.
Yeah. I think that can
be the thing we do.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna try to knock one of those games off my list before we talk again in a month.
Whoa.
And
you know what? Maybe I'll try and do that too. Maybe I'll try and get Wonder off my list in the next month.
Yeah, like pick an easy one.
Yeah.
Right? Pick one you're already playing.
Yeah.
That you're like is almost done.
I already know I'm gonna finish. I'm like halfway through.
Yeah. I'll do Wonder too.
Cool.
Yeah. And
let's do it.
Yeah, and then maybe I think maybe I'll do RPG also.
Ooh.
But I don't want to get ahead of myself. That's the tricky thing. You want to set like overzealous.
Don't set the bar too high. I actually
yeah.
said that this earlier in a tweet that I made a plan for my content creation goals this year, and realizing that having a puppy has made it very difficult.
Yeah.
So I am behind on some things, and so I'm just like, I need to change the plan.
Yeah.
Do it well before I fail completely. Yeah.
And then above all, be kind to yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
Because, we say we have these goals for 2024. If they don't happen, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all good.
And it doesn't mean to completely give up. If you aren't going to reach them, just keep trying. You'll get to it eventually.
Yeah, just those games roll over to next year.
Yeah.
So be it.
They're not going anywhere.
That's fine. My goal was to complete Requestathon initially in just December. Now it's definitely looking like it's going to roll into the first week or two of February.
Oh, okay.
And that's totally chill.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
That's fine.
You're having fun.
I'm having. It's actually been really cool playing so many different games. Such a variety, like a revolving door of random.
I think it's such a cool idea.
Thanks.
Yeah, I love it.
I've been having a great, even with the games that I haven't totally enjoyed. It's been nice just like trying that genre.
Yeah.
If nothing else, just to like see. Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Well, is there anything else we need to discuss on this podcast?
Do you want to do news?
Yeah, we can do some news. What's going on in the Pokemon world right now?
Just a couple things right now. So I mentioned earlier, there's a 7-star Blaziken raid happening. The last weekend for it is this weekend. So today's the 18th, right? So it's going to be the
18th. Yeah.
The 19th, 20th, 21st.
Yep.
I think is when this Blaziken is going to be available, and then after that, the Blaziken's going to be gone. And there's also, this is just a little thing, but there's like a little cosmetic. You can get like a phone case with a mystery gift.
Oh, cool.
Code. I don't know what the code is off the top of my head, but if you just
look it up,
if you just give it a goog,
nice.
And it's just a cute little phone case. If that's something that interests you, that's something. Actually, just quickly, I've been buying all the clothing.
Yeah.
In Scarlet, I think I got it all. It was like millions of dollars in that game.
Yeah, I know.
To get all the clothes.
I like watched a video on because I saw you with your cool like flame suit, or someone had a flame suit.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I want cool clothes that aren't school uniforms.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is gonna be way too much effort.
There's a lot of money. Yeah. Yeah, there's some.
So I got the Team Star outfit.
Oh, cool.
And then I was just like, I'm done.
You're good. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't have that much money.
Yeah. What's new in Fortnite?
So I think Fortnite's gonna have a big update next week.
Okay.
But so far, I think, what's the latest thing that I remember? There was a new item called like Flowberry Fizz or something, and it's like a healing item, and it looks, the animation is weird. It's like, it looks like a bottle of champagne, and you're like shaking it around. Was
it for like New Year's or something?
I guess it kind of coincided with it.
Okay.
But it's like, it heals you.
Okay.
That's the latest thing I can remember off the top of my head. I think there was some competitive news about FNCS that came out recently. I really don't have a lot of details on that either.
Okay.
I've been playing a lot of, like, I haven't been playing Fortnite a whole bunch, but I've been playing a lot of Fortnite Festival.
Oh, cool.
Which is like the rock band thing. They had a Shawn Mendes song come out on it. And this week I think they have that one Bastille song that went really big. Pompeii, yeah.
Sweet.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they've been updating. They did announce that now that Epic Games is back from their vacation for the holidays, they're going to be updating the songs every Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's cool. It won't be like a totally new thing, but like the rotation will change every Thursday.
Yeah. Have they said anything about releasing a guitar?
A new song will come out every Thursday, I think. Whatever it is. They haven't said anything about a guitar. Apparently, there might just be rumors, but they are prioritizing getting the legacy guitars working soon. I don't know when.
Oh, okay.
How soon
Cool.
it's gonna work. But so like
So
the
if you
old
have-
Rock Band stuff,
They're trying to get that to work
Yep.
with it. That's sick.
which is cool. Although I brought the Wii U down and set it up.
Yeah.
I had some friends over the other week, and I was like, let's play Rock Band.
Uh-huh.
My guitar is so trash.
Oh.
It's just like the buttons are sticky, and it's just like the strumming is not nice. And now I'm like, should I buy a new Rock Band guitar?
They're also not cheap
No,
anymore.
they're not. Exactly.
'Cause
That's why.
So many people threw theirs
Especially
out.
the Mustang, which is the one that I want.
Oh.
Ugh.
It's rough out here, man.
Mhm. Everybody trying to make a buck.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But like, come on.
Yeah, man. Leave us alone.
Yeah.
I just want to play my games in peace.
Yep. Exactly.
Without having to mortgage my apartment.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, that's all I can remember on Fortnite right now.
Cool.
I'm sure it's great. I have just not had any time
I'm sure
because I
they're
have a puppy.
doing fine over there.
Puppy life
Yeah.
leaves no time for Fortnite.
Yeah.
But, and then there's this big guy. just
Oh, yeah.
laying here.
Sweet.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much to everyone for listening to Frostbytes, a gaming podcast.
There's another one in the bag.
Another one in the bag. We film this live every month
Mhm.
on Twitch. Twitch.tv/just_Kiyashi is where we do it. You can watch it live if you want, but if not, you can find it on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, whatever. Thanks again.
Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.